Andrew Schultz wants to make love to Kendrick Lamar, and I am disturbed.
I'm not a tough guy, y'all do. But just Kendrick, I would make love to him. There's nothing he could do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him, and the only thing that he could do is decide if it's consensual or not.
What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Keep sending those Cashapps to CLBMG. I appreciate you, gang. Let me start this out. First and foremost, I want to say this is my channel. And if you want a quick, fast, hurry up and get to the point response, you might as well swipe, click, or move forward to the next video. I'm going to take my time. It is what it is. I'm not here for you. I'm here for the people who want to hear what I have to say. I have never found Andrew Schultz funny. I'm just going to start there. I always felt there was something off with this guy. I tried. I was like, Charlemagne is rocking with him. They have this show, Brilliant Idiots. I tried to watch it. I could never get through an episode. I'm just going to be honest. I could never get through this guy's humor. I did not know why. I don't know why to this day. Something in the undercurrent of how he talked, how he spoke, something was there, was seething, right? And I know a guy like him, everything's funny. He'll watch this and it'll be funny. He'll find something funny. But this is the most unfunny comic I've ever seen in my life. There are a few that could actually go neck and neck with this guy. And it's not about him being white or black. It's just, I do not find him funny. I like witty comics. And I am the last person to try to stop comedians from doing what they're doing. I am a huge Dave Chappelle fan, right? Stood right by him through everything. I am a comedy, listen, I've been listening to comedy since the early 80s. Since the 70s. Since SNL started, I was up late, 7, 8, 9 years old, watching SNL. Watching everything comedy. I can go on and on. George Carlin, Richard Pryor, everything comedic. I go right now to this day. I'll go on Showtime. I'll go on Hulu. I'll go on, not Hulu, but I'll go on Amazon. I'll go on HBO. Go into the random corners of it. Find random comics, Netflix, and watch an hour of a guy I don't even know his name, a girl I have no idea, somebody who can barely speak language, a British comic, right? An Arabic comic, a black comic, white comic, country guy with a belt buckle talking racist. I can watch anything comedic. And out of everything I've seen, Andrew Schultz is one of the least funny comics I have ever seen. And maybe that's because I only see clips of him on YouTube or clips of him on Instagram, these shorts, but I see him when I see him with Charlemagne, and I understand. I'm going to get to all that of what I believe is going on with Andrew Schultz. But I do not find his humor funny, and I'm going to tell you why. The first thing about Andrew Schultz's humor, it is this mean-spirited, I'm smarter than you, I am better than you, and you don't get it because you're a snowflake, because you're soft. It's this anti-woke humor. Anti-woke comedians are just mean people. The anti-woke comedy is nothing but mean comedy. If it had some type of concept or setup, it would probably be funnier. Like the guy who got up there when he was not opening, but he performed on Trump's campaign. It's mean-spirited, and only mean-spirited people like it. They find it hilarious. And these guys are coming up right now. This anti-woke sentiment is great. It's awesome. Who wants to be on some like snowflake woke comedic type of time anyway? I like my stuff edgy, but I like it smart. I like it to be, if you're going to make a joke, it has to be funny. So when I look at Andrew Schultz, when I heard Kendrick say white comedians should not be allowed to talk about black women, that's law. I'm going to be honest. I didn't know who the hell he was talking about. I know there's probably 10, 15 white comedians that have said something about black women in the last couple months. I didn't know who he was talking about. I'm just going to be honest. So for Andrew Schultz to jump out there and start to say the things he said about Kendrick, that he can pin him down if they were in a cell together, and he would make love to him, and he would squeeze his legs into meat and make that into a woman's body part, and that's what he would make love to. That shit is not funny. So all the other stuff you want to say, racial and whatever you want to get, we're going to get into all that. But at the end of the day, that's not funny. I will laugh. If you make a funny joke about me, my kids, my wife, if it's funny, I'm going to laugh, right? I'm going to laugh. I am the most funny. I saw somebody in my comments, and one of my shorts, he's like, this guy never smiles. I'm like, I smile all the time, gang. You're catching the shorts where I'm talking about something that I don't think is funny. This I don't find funny. Andrew Schultz responded to Kendrick on Whacked Out Murals saying, no white comedian could talk about a black woman. That's law. His response was to go. Now, you got to understand who he is. I want to read. First of all, he's a shock comedian, right? I don't know nothing about this guy. All I know is that he's on Charlamagne's show. And I always said, my podcast will end up on Charlamagne's Black Effect. At some point, I'll get signed to that label, that company, and that'll be whatever. That was my plan a couple years ago. I don't know so much at this point, right? I don't know if I need that at this point, because if you're thinking Andrew Schultz is comedy, or that is somebody that needs to be a part of your team, then we're probably not going to be really working together. I'm just being honest. Andrew Schultz, to me, is that undercover white guy who really doesn't like things around him. He doesn't like the culture, but that's the only thing that's going to get him played. Andrew Schultz talking about hip hop is the only thing bringing him up in the stratosphere. He really looks like a person that can't stand it. I'm just being honest. I don't think he likes hip hop. I think he thinks rappers are beneath him. He loves Drake. Right? Let's just be honest. Drake is not really the core of what you get from hip hop. You gotta understand, this whole thing with Kendrick is from a Drake fan. I want to read who this guy is, because I'm like, what am I getting this undercurrent from this guy? What is there? Something there. I don't understand it, but something's there. So let me reach into his backstory. Who is this guy? Right? And what am I seeing right under the surface that makes this guy feel like he's angry? Right? And he really doesn't like our culture. I'm just being honest. You can pander to it. Rap is the easiest thing in the world to pander to, right? That you don't have to like it at all. So let me read who this guy is, and I'm going to discuss what is going on under the surface. And if you need to check out, go get some water or something, go watch something else, then do your thing. But I'm going to be here. Andrew Cameron Schultz was born October 30th, 1983. He's an American stand-up comedian, actor, and podcaster. In addition to his stand-up, he is known for his work on MTV2's Guy Code and its two spinoffs, The Flagrant Podcast with Ankash Singh and The Brilliant Idiots Podcast, which is with Charlamagne. Schultz's first Netflix special, Schultz Saves America, premiered on December 17th, 2020. His early life. Schultz was born on October 30th, 1983 in New York to Larry Schultz and Sandra Cameron. His mother, a Scottish immigrant who was a professional ballroom dancer. His father is a native New Yorker and former reporter, military veteran, born to a family from Chicago, Illinois, and is of German and Irish descent. Schultz's parents owned the Sandra Cameron Dance Center in Lower Manhattan for 3 decades. He was raised in the East Village in Lower Manhattan and attended New York City public schools, Louis DeVry Blake Primary School, and Robert Wagner Middle School, Upper East Side neighborhood, and yada, yada, yada. He went to University of California. So this is basically a white kid with a lot of money. His father is German, and he's Irish. So I don't know how much black kids he's running around. I don't know how many hip-hop kids he's running around if he's on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. All right, I'm figuring this out as we go along, gang, because it feels like a guy who really don't rock with us. I'm just being honest. So let me cook and get where I'm getting, because I think this guy don't fuck with us. His first instinct when Kendrick said something, he don't even know who he's talking about. But let's imagine it was about Kendrick. Okay, you're a comedian. Make some jokes. Your first jokes is, I'm going to rip him. I'm going to pin his legs back and put my piss in his body. That's the fucking joke, my nigga. That's the joke. Let me keep this moving. He has he graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology. So this motherfucker knows how to mind fuck. See, everything he's doing is for shock value. Everything. All of this stuff is, these comedians right now, they need eyeballs, gang. They need to prove to Netflix that I can draw eyeballs, right? You remember Monique had this whole thing about her worth and yada, yada, and Netflix turned her down. They gave her this. These comedians need to prove I can move eyeballs. He's loving this thing with Kendrick because now the needle, this is his whole thing. I want to get canceled. You know what canceled mean to a comedian? More shows. Just being honest. Now, I do admit, some comedians, when they get low-key, canceled is it's two different kind of cancels. Canceled is where everybody's outraged, but your core audience loves it. That's one kind of cancel. Another kind of cancel is your core audience are not fucking with you. That's a different kind of cancel. He's not that kind of canceled, and he don't want that kind of cancel. He want the kind of cancel where his core audience comes out in droves because they like what he said and did, but people online that he doesn't have any connection to, like Black Twitter, are mad and pissed off. So he don't care what you're saying right now about him. He loves it. The zeitgeist has his name, tick, tick, tick. You go on YouTube, his name is on fire. That's what he wants, gang. See, the normal person that really cared what you thought, first of all, sadly, would have apologized, right? I don't think he likes you, me, or black women. He's not going to apologize. He's not going to take. So Kendrick is coming from a place of black men need to protect black women. I didn't even name this white guy, but I'm just telling you, I'm talking to the 2 black British dudes that was sitting there talking about black women get angry and they slap, like all this stuff they're talking about being in a relationship with a black woman. The whole thing was about these jokes about being in a relationship with a black woman, right? So he started speaking out of turn, talking about, yeah, these guys doing this and that because the black woman is always angry and bitching and mad. And they grow beards so that she, when she smacks them, it'll have a cushion. It was mildly funny, but it wasn't funny at all. I'm just being honest. So these 2 guys went back to their podcast in Britain or wherever they're from, had to apologize to black women because it was extremely disrespectful, and this guy doesn't care. He watched them apologize, and he went and said more stuff about clowning them and the people that was mad at him because it gets him more clicks to his core base audience. You gotta understand, he's an anti-woke comedian. His core base loves that shit. They don't like us either. Anti-woke is anti-black. I'm just being honest with you. How many anti-woke black comedians do you know? It ain't many, if any, right? So when you say anti-woke comedy, you're talking about an angry white guy that wants to interview Trump like he interviewed Trump, right? You're talking about somebody, of course he's gonna like Drake over Kendrick. Come on, gang. Let me cook. He's gonna like Kendrick. He's gonna like Drake over Kendrick. And instead of getting into an intelligent debate about Kendrick, he's like, I'll fuck him up. He literally said, I am my height and my weight and my size. If I'm in a sale, he went back straight up. He went Neanderthal. Kendrick didn't say anything violent to him. Kendrick line wasn't even to him. He said, don't let a white comedian talk about black women. His response was to put Kendrick in a cell and pin Kendrick down because I'm bigger than him. First of all, I'm just going to be honest. I got Kendrick putting the beats on him. Let's start there. You're talking about height and weight. My nigga, it's little dudes that get busy. I don't see it. I see you getting the reverse. First of all, nobody wants to sleep with a nigga. What you talking about, my nigga? Make love. This is your go-to? You want to make love to a grown man? Where the joke at? I got Kendrick punishing you. I'm put money on it. This nigga was raised in Compton. You're raised in the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Skinny white boy. I got him sleeping you. Dead ass. I got him sleeping you. Let's start there. You're talking all this, I'm taller, I'm bigger, and what? I saw him hitting the bags. Bags don't punch back, my nigga. The lowest center of gravity, short dudes are hard to fight. This to tell you you never had no real fights. Bushwick Bill was a midget in the Ghetto Boys. And Bushwick Bill was the wildest nigga out of all of them. He used to fight Willie D on sight. Every time they got into an argument, he was trying to knock Willie D head off. Bushwick Bill was probably 3 feet tall. And you know what he said? I used to sell niggas in jail for a pack of cigarettes. He was punking niggas in prison. You got it all messed up. You thinking because you're tall, right? But that's because you got no jokes and you're looking for shock value. And the people that think it's funny are weirdos. See, me, I'm just, let's go, let's play the whole scenario out, okay? Okay, let's play the scenario. Because he brought this up, so I'm going to go with it. Andrew Schultz is in prison. He's in cell with Kendrick. I got before Andrew Schultz, unless he shaves his head and becomes skin. First of all, he's going to be with the Aryans. Let's keep it a buck. He won't even be in a cell with Kendrick. Let me know what stopped me when I'm bugging. But let's just say for shits and giggles, he's not with the Aryans, right? And Kendrick is not with who. Kendrick is just Kendrick and he's who he is. Before he even get in that cell to decide he's going to do anything to Kendrick, I don't even think Kendrick has to say a word. I think he's fooled before he even hits the damn set. Before he hits the bed that night, I think he's fooled. I'm just being honest. Who you think gonna have more heads on their side in that prison, Kendrick or him? So you're bringing up prison scenarios. If we was in a cell, I think you're fooled. I just don't see it, gang. I'm just being honest. So with the nonsense, it sound funny because you're on your podcast with your cackling homies over there, but I don't think you make it out of there if you put one hand on this dude in that prison. Let's talk about it. I think whatever happens that night, I think he beats you up. I'm just being honest. You're not raping nobody. I think he beats you up. And I think in the morning, when he comes out, 10 other dudes beat you up. Okay? So let's clear that up out the way. Let's just move past this whole, I'm bigger than you, I'm gonna chump you up. These jokes sound great, but they're not realistic. I don't see no scenario where you win this conversation. It's bizarre. But let me just finish what I'm talking about, because I feel like we as a people need to realize when somebody really don't rock with you. I watched a little bit, because I had to do a little bit of research before I did this video. And it's tough to find something funny from this guy. I'm just being honest. It's really tough. His timing's off. He's mean-spirited. His jokes not landing. He doesn't have good. It's just a lot of. I watch a lot of comedy, gang. I don't base my comedy on he's raw, he's racist, da da da. A racist joke can be funny. I can watch a comedian that's borderline racist, but the racism isn't funny. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to make real comedy. A joke can be, you can make a joke about race that can be funny. Racism is not funny, my nigga. It's never going to be funny. You can take a topic of racism, or you can take a topic about race and make it into a joke. Racism ain't funny. So this guy lives off of racism and being mean, and he thinks that shit is funny. So I did some research. I watched his stand-up. I think it was, I watched the beginning of Infamous, and he was talking about Diddy, and he was talking about if you rob Diddy, he may be home, and he may be naked with Meek Mill. It's all pandering, my nigga. We all really get it. I get it. You don't really like this culture, but it gets you laughs. You talk about it in tongue-in-cheek like you really don't rock with it. It's other comedians like Josh Johnson has made a name for himself. He goes, he's figured out his niche, right? He'll talk about hip-hop, Drake, Kendrick, da-da-da, but you can tell he's in the culture. He understands it, and he breaks it down for white people. He does it for white people, right? He'll literally make a whole special. He'll find a topic, then write a whole 20 minutes about the topic, shoot the video, put it on YouTube, blows up, does 1 million views. But people can get it. You can tell this guy really isn't, even though he's talking to, just to be honest, he's talking to white people. He's telling white people, like, I'm going to explain to you about Kendrick and Drake. You can tell it's not a guy on the outside of it that really hates it, but he just wants to use it for, this guy, Andrew Schultz, doesn't like this culture. It's beneath him. The very first thing he said was, oh, so because rappers have always been so respectful to women. We have a culture of a lot of different things in this culture. We are not a monolith. We are more than one thing. Our culture has hardcore rap. Our culture has soft rap. You're going to get I Need Love from LL Cool J. You're going to get Bitches Ain't Shit from Dr. Dre and Snoop. Right? We got it all, gang. So don't say rappers have been disrespecting women. Some songs are misogynistic, just like some movies are misogynistic, right? Some shows are misogynistic. Some comedians are misogynistic. You can't pack them all in and say rappers have been disrespectful to women for ages. You never addressed your fault in this. You know why he never addressed his fault in this with this conversation about these black women? Because he don't give a shit about them. That's why. They're beneath his train of thought to even have to double back and discuss it. He said what he said. He meant it. And if I got to continue talking about it, I'm going to say something worse the next time because I don't give a shit about him. You got to understand the kind of person you're dealing with. Upper East Side, went to the University of California. He's a shock jock comedian, anti-woke. This guy could give a fuck what we think. We're a means to an end, gang. He don't give a shit about no Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar is everything he don't like. He's walking down the streets of Manhattan. He see Kendrick Lamar across the street. He'd be like, this guy's going to rob me. He don't give a fuck about this guy. Right? Look at the couch of the podcast. It's a, what is this? A Middle Eastern guy, white guy, and some black guy that looked like he freaking hate his damn self. I'm just being honest. He cackling at everything this guy. He never I don't watch the show, but every clip, he never checked this dude one time. Not even once. They think everything this dude say is hilarious. It's hilarious. It's hysterical. Oh my God. Oh, black women. I'm going to say this and get out of here. Andrew Schultz, right, is using, because what would he talk about if he wasn't talking about hip hop and black culture? What would he talk about? I don't think it's much he could talk about. I think he really don't rock with us at all. Don't rock with us at all, gang. That's why he want to pin Kendrick legs up for talking shit to him and have sex with him. That's funny? Listen, I am not remotely an Andrew Schultz fan. And after this, we almost enemies, my nigga. I'm just being honest. Just being honest. Now, I know he'll watch this, find a whole bunch of jokes. Bunch of unfunny shit he gonna say. Please trust and believe this is us over here. We doing our own thing. We don't need you to understand. We don't need you to understand. This is why Kenny said this shit to us. He didn't say, Andrew Schultz, don't talk about black women. He know what your game is. You a fake Howard Stern. Your game, we see that shit, gang. We're not slow. We're not going to stop what we're doing over here to go and give you all this shine. You're getting your shine for the moment. A lot of people are coming out like, oh, Andrew Schultz, da-da-da. Bro, I get it. I am not a censor. I don't censor comedians. I would never tell you what to say. But I see through the bullshit. And I see that you really don't like us. I'm just being honest. And the reason Charlamagne rocks with him, I'm going to be honest about that. Charlamagne really, his thing is metrics. Charlamagne knows I can put a black comedian right there and we can rock out and have our niche. But if I get this white guy that's kind of seething a little bit, he has a little bit of, you can kind of see the racism, but you kind of think he can't be if he said with Charlamagne. People will watch that. He has a little bit of insight on hip hop. Oh, people will watch this white guy kind of from a hateful side of it, say the other side of it, right? He's not coming from our side of it. He's coming from that prep school. He didn't go to prep school, but he's like, it's just a whole different vibe. And in that little side is starting to get a place online. That little anti-woke, everything is garbage. That little Oscar the Grouch shit, right? Charlamagne could feed it. He can work with this, right? He can work with this. So Charlamagne doesn't care. Let's just be honest. I'm just being honest. Charlamagne don't care about, he cares about black to a degree. He cares about what we think to a degree. But at the end of the day, it's about $1. And it's about moving that needle. And Schultz is moving that needle for him. And for some reason, I don't know what kind of conversations they have, but they've connected on a level that I don't know what it is. And so somehow he's seen beyond this undercurrent of just, for lack of a better word, just a racist guy to me. A racist guy. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave it at this. This guy's half German, half Irish. I don't know where he would even have to care about what the hell we think. I'm going to leave it at that. CLBMG, peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.